because of safety.
Here we go. I think we're getting a wider shot here.
We're getting a wider shot, but we're not seeing really any units behind this vehicle here. But you can see we are following this
spotlight, like you said.
Yeah, you see the spotlight. So we're following this. What looks like sedan there. It's silver, possibly.
But you raise a good point, Leslie. I mean, we don't often see, I mean, with a case like this where if our information that's very preliminary is correct, where you have an attempted kidnapping suspect and the person's taking off, generally you'd have ground units there. Perhaps they're trying to get them into place at this point. So that is curious.
One thing you did mention, Tom, is that there is a light that's shining on that back license plate there. So it makes it very visible for law enforcement to see those numbers, to see that license plate.
Possible kidnapping.
Connect it with whoever may be driving this.
Hey, Sean, welcome.
We don't have details on what exactly surrounds this potential kidnapping. We just know that CHP tried to stop this car over in
JT, what's up?
They're now in Whittier. It looks like this
Richie,
person,
what's going on?
Is
I just uploaded a short from that chase the other day, and it's not very good. Like the clips just don't hit right if there's no audio from the news.
So you're wondering if no lights and sirens, but you wonder, are they just trying to back off because of
what's happening, Stack? I don't know.
People on the road safe here, but can't tell how many people are in this vehicle. The windows are very tinted, which also can
always windows are always so tinted.
Dicey, right?
Yeah, increases,
because we don't know if there's a weapon.
Level of what police can suspect of this person.
Chato heard that he's armed and dangerous.
You can't see what they're doing. I mean, obviously, and to your point, I mean, they could have a weapon in there potentially.
Okay, we're gonna run this prediction.
Watch how the pacing
for those of you who are already in here.
We're running the driver, just because you're not seeing the lights and sirens as you pointed out.
At least I thought it worked, but maybe not.
The chopper has the spotlight.
No, it doesn't work again.
Now it looks like the driver is being a bit more evasive. It looks like they kind of know they're being pursued. Maybe they didn't before, but I would assume they did, seeing that they had a big light pointed out them.
Yeah, and we do want to get to retired Sergeant Patrick O'Malley, who we have on the phone here.
There's two people in the car.
Sergeant O'Malley, it looks like now we can see.
Do they think that the person in the front is kidnapped?
You can see a passenger there, a driver. What are you hearing from your sources?
Well, the odd part about this one is that CHP has backed off.
Yeah.
And CHP usually doesn't back off on many pursuits, which leads me to believe that, there possibly could be a victim in this car. If the original call was the kidnapping, and if they just, had their concerns.
Oh shit! My thing got fucked up. Sorry.
That might cause them to back off a little bit and follow by air. As we saw in that last shot, CHP is still there. They still have 2 or 3 units that are behind it, but they just don't have lights and sirens activated. So,
and you make a
it was a female passenger.
Sergeant O'Malley, that's because we.
What city? This is in Los Angeles.
Right now, if both are considered suspects in this, or if one is a victim. But we saw what looks like a passenger
or Whittier, whatever.
in that vehicle very clearly. Again, we can't see the back seat. Very tinted windows here, but yeah, CHP looks like they have pulled off a bit in this case. What are the dangers to this potential victim? I mean, by pulling off, of course, they don't want to escalate the situation, right?
Yeah, and that's the exact reason that they would be doing that. As you could see in that.
Yeah, right. I mean, also they could be learning that this is not what they think it is. Something like that.
She was clearly looking up in the air, looking up at the helicopters. So it's really hard to say at this point if she's, a victim, if she's an accomplice, or, if they have someone in the back seat, or if, it was just some type of call that somebody called in that it looked like they were trying to kidnap somebody. So I haven't heard anything in terms of the fact.
I would put my money on the fact that it's not a kidnapping. That's where my money would be.
It could also be, I mean, and good evening to you, Sergeant O'Malley. Always good to talk to you. It could also be a domestic situation here as well, too, right?
What's up, David?
This could be a custodial situation. I mean, there's so many different scenarios here, but it could be a situation where these people could know each other, or they could be related. We don't know. There's so many outstanding details here, but the driver only going about 25 miles per hour right now. And then you also have to wonder if this car came all the way from Orange. Are they in a neighborhood that they know, right? I mean, that often happens.
Bolt says he thinks it's going to be a long and dramatic chase. I think it's probably over right now.
This person actually shut off their headlights there. This is a very dark area, so we can still still see their brake lights, but we can't see really.
They like
what
drove
is
to a dead
happening
end.
here. We also want to be very careful, considering this was a possible kidnapping situation.
Or maybe this is just a turn in the road. What are they doing?
CHP will try to come up on
Where's
the
the fucking
situation
night
now
sun?
that the vehicle was stopped.
I would think so, unless we get information that they've completely terminated everything for, you know, whatever reason they found out or information that they got. But, you know, it's pretty clear now these people are just trying to hide out and see what happens next.
Yeah, and it's hard to see this because you see the trees here.
Yeah.
We're in the Whittier
Okay.
area. I think we may be in.
They're gonna
kind of in
drive
the hills
again.
in Whittier. It looks like the car.
Did the
taking
person get
off once
out?
Again, I can't tell if both people are still inside or
if
if
someone
one
just got
person
out.
got out.
Yeah.
You never know. That is the case many times. We
Did
see
the person get
passenger
out? We
get
didn't
but
see him.
again, we don't know if that's the situation here. We couldn't clearly get a good look at this vehicle, but it looks like this driver now using their turn signal, following the rules of the road here. A lot of times we don't see that in a pursuit.
Yeah, and then just the fact that we don't see a close following there, right? I mean, I know we're speculating on that, but the fact that we don't see lights and sirens right
Should
up
be a
against
storm chaser. I did
car,
that one
I
time
mean,
with one of my
Sergeant, you made a
friends.
good point.
He was a storm chaser. I
there
went
could
with him
be an
one day. It was
issue
pretty
where they're
fun.
just trying to protect whoever may be in that car. That maybe it's someone that's being held against their will. That's obviously a huge question. But it's interesting that the car stopped, as Leslie pointed out, and then maybe someone got out, and then they kept going. But it was a very dark spot there, and maybe that's a police cruiser behind them. But still, again, there's no lights and sirens. So that's I mean, in this situation, Sergeant, do you think when you have a
MKRQ,
someone like this,
welcome.
Who isn't driving that erratically, do you kind of try to mirror that behavior by not trying to excite them and doing the same thing?
Yeah, and that's the interesting part. You know, CHP likes to chase the vehicles till the termination point, and the fact that they're laying off really says something. You know, and like you said, there's a lot of ways that these kind of calls come about. You know,
A couple people died in a police chase yesterday in
or it
LA.
could be that somebody sees somebody getting pulled into
And
a
I think
car,
that could be
like you said,
relevant.
It could be domestic. They could know the person. They might not know the person.
Just a guess.
So I really haven't heard much other information in terms of what the actual facts of this incident are. But they are in the area, and you can see CHP now has lights and sirens going the other way.
Yeah, we did see CHP lights and
Oh,
sirens
MKRQ,
the
shit.
other way, but you make an interesting point, Sergeant O'Malley, because we
50
know
months.
that CHP, probably the best trained in pursuits.
It's a lot of months.
Out of many agencies, and you are right. They do
Thank you.
like to terminate, a pursuit.
The
they
big
want to follow
50.
it all the way through many times, correct?
Yes.
Didn't stream it? No, I don't think it was
they are
on
one of
TV.
the
It didn't happen on TV
agencies
as far as I know.
in California in terms of the continuing
But a
pursuits. They use all
minivan
the
ran
different
into
tactics that they're
a
trained in, and,
city
they're
bus,
confident that they're gonna end
and a couple
safely
people
with
died.
minimal risk
And
to,
this was
the
during a police
suspects and the
chase.
community.
So I'm just saying, if things like that happen, the police think twice about chasing a car the next day, you know? A lot of bad heat on them today.
Must know this area. They seem
People,
like they want to
I'm
stay
sure
in
there's
this
a lot of
area.
discourse in Southern California today about how the
Looks like
police
they got a cell phone
should
there,
not
or
be
maybe a
doing
GPS
this.
or something like that.
I'm sure there's a lot of pressure
license
today
Yeah, I
from
saw that on
people
the
who
dashboard.
have
I
level
didn't
heads
know if it was
who are
almost
saying,
like
hey,
if you
don't
were-
do this anymore.
plate. Right, that's what I was thinking too.
So bright.
At the same time, it looks like the passenger is still in this vehicle. Am I correct? Can you guys see hands waving on the passenger
it seems
side?
like it, unless it's
It's hard for me to
reflection,
tell
but
if there's
you're right.
somebody
It
there.
looks like from the monitor that we're
It's
our
hard.
vantage point, it does look like there's someone still in there. The question is someone in the back seat too, right? I mean, we really can't see that. Those windows are very tinted. Obviously, the windshield, they can't tint that as much, obviously. So we can see it. We have a clearer view into the.
It's hard for me to
into
see the person
front
there.
of
it
the
does
car.
look like there's hands,
But yeah, it's.
I don't
and
know.
Sergeant, you pointed out as well. They do seem to be kind of sticking to
Off-duty
this area,
officers were killed,
which does
too.
raise that question: are they trying to stay in a neighborhood that they know, and then how does
What
this
is
end?
happening?
Do they eventually take off? But look, I mean, once again, they've stopped. They're kind of following the flow of traffic. So are they kind of they have to. You can see the reflection of the CHP spotlight there in their window, so they've got to know that they're being followed. But then their reaction to it is kind of interesting, right? Because they're not really actually behaving like they're trying to escape. They're behaving like they're just driving in traffic.
yeah, they're getting lit up now.
Yeah, Sergeant, this is not normally what we see with suspects. Many times these people are doing whatever they can to get away, and this person following the rules of the road, using their turn signal at some point and stopping at red lights there.
If you got the night sun on your car, you know that you're being followed.
Like the front tire might have been flat on the vehicle also. So I don't, what's going on behind the scenes. They still could be planning out some of their different tactics of spike strips or things like that, or they could just be in a pure following mode, and they're just going to ride this out until the end and keep the air units up above. And see how it goes.
Hey, well, it's interesting to me because obviously
pulling over again. No, psych.
It looked like they were pulling over there.
What's interesting is because you have the car being driven obviously by this person who has to know that they're being followed. But if there's not a unit behind them with lights and sirens on, how does protocol work then? Because
does that front tire look fucked up?
Theoretically, say, well, I didn't know I was being pursued. There's no unit behind me. Demanding that I comply with pulling over.
Blue Harkness, this is in Southern California.
This is so odd because it's like we've seen authorities pull off of chases before, but then you don't generally see the spotlight staying on the vehicle.
It's a pretty common tactic in this day and age where they initiate a pursuit. It starts to increase in speed, starts to become a little bit more dangerous.
Yeah, I don't know what the guy in the news station is talking about, really. They haven't called the chase off. They have not called the chase off, clearly.
Like they're using a couple different tactics these days where they will actually...
If they still are up ahead, they're still chasing the person. It's still a police pursuit.
Or they will just pull the units off completely and just follow it from the air. And then they'll keep units in the general area, prepared for when they do pull over. They'll be in the area and they'll be ready to set up a perimeter and attempt to take them into custody.
Interesting. Right now, you can see that driver. He looks like this person looks to be wearing maybe a pretty bright colored shirt, a yellow shirt there.
Well, why would you want a blue light? I don't know. It looks kind of cool.
They actually have in their hand right now. We know that many times law enforcement has ways to contact these people.
Right.
They have families that will contact them, correct, Sergeant, to try to get them to stop and pull over.
Yeah, and there's another way that this call could have come about is, you have license plate readers throughout many cities now. And so
there is somebody in the back seat. Because you can see the passenger, that woman keeps turning around.
Something that happened
she just had her hands in the back seat. But I don't know. What did she just put in her bag? What was that? Yo, what was that about? You guys see that?
That's what they're trying to get. So it's just hard to say, and you can tell the female is clearly still in the car and in the front seat.
There's a lot of movement happening.
There's a lot of movement.
It looks like maybe something's being stuffed in a bag.
It looked like she reached in the back seat and then she put something in a bag.
We don't know if there
I thought she was reaching back there because there was like a kid back there or something.
Just how dangerous these suspects can be. You already know their danger level is to get away, evade police. So
here comes a cop.
Based on the behavior, though, of the RAC pursuing unit there. But I will say, in terms of the behavior of the person sitting in that passenger seat, it does not appear just solely based on a visual of lights and sirens. Now they're picking up speed.
They probably look closer than it was,
that
but
person in the passenger seat was necessarily
shit, Mr. Wiggly too.
They could have been. We don't know.
Welcome, thank you.
For all I know, but
Mr. Wiggly and MKRQ get the resub thing on the same day. 50 months.
So it's unclear if this person. Again,
welcome.
We don't know, but I'm just basing this off of what I just saw. Looks like they were putting something in the bag.
It seemed like a pretty calm demeanor there, but
now we see
as you see,
I think at this point you two are the only ones with the 50 month
speed here, going through intersections, riding the median right now. Now that those lights and sirens are on, do you think that CHP will try to use a tactic now?
Well, in that last intersection, I don't know if you saw that, but they went right through a red light and almost collided.
Yeah, this thing just got like way more dangerous after the cop turned their light on. Like, I mean, once the cop got behind him, this shit just went up a level.
That are behind it to warn vehicles in the area. They may engage this pursuit again and get all of their units behind it.
Yeah, they seem to be getting much more
what's up,
aggressive,
Vic?
and obviously the driver much more aggressive as well. We're seeing the, as you both pointed out, zooming through these intersections.
Just ran through another red light.
The speeds, kind of a little bit manic now. It's going from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. The person's driving a little bit more erratically, changing lanes more quickly. Obviously,
we had
now
a split
seems to be more
on
of an urgency.
the
We saw
yes and the
license
no.
sirens now on in one of the units
Not very many
pursuing.
people voting
And
or
Whittier, for, folks who
predicting,
might
so
not
we'll see
know
what
that area
happens
very
for
well, it's
number
very, like,
2. So the prediction for that
family
one was
city, a lot
yes.
of-
Let's try another one. Is this going to last for another 15 minutes?
Where there could be kids, although it's not that late. It feels like it's late because of daylight saving.
Yeah, which is also a difference, which may be why we're seeing a lot of these dark streets. You know, a lot of the street lights aren't set for the daylight saving time.
Yeah, it escalated when that cop got behind him, right? Like, it's not even...
Many of these areas do seem pretty dark.
It's not even like...
It is only, what...
You know? Was yesterday Crash Live Tusk? No, I don't think it was on TV.
So that may be why
I wasn't streaming it.
These neighborhoods still pretty dark.
All right, so yeah, we're showing you this earlier clip of where it looks like the car, the driver's spinning around there.
Yeah, Cole is right. The police chases happen everywhere. They happen in Cali, and we are aware of them much more because of the news stations care about it.
Yep, that's what we're showing.
The news stations, the rest of the country don't care.
Again, to your left is the live picture. In that bigger box is the earlier shot.
Okay, you know how I feel about this.
As we've been saying, the
tell me Eliana's on this.
Erratically, and it looks like traffic seems to be very.
Okay, we're switching.
Definitely a situation that's favoring the suspect, right? This person is able to get through. There's not a lot of.
Our assignment desk.
It's not Eliana, but I'm going to switch to this station.
The pursuit as well, blowing right through that intersection right there. Red light. Oh my goodness. On a weekend evening, warm evening, a lot of people out right now, so you could just imagine this individual getting pretty desperate now, making a right-hand turn. Looks like, are they getting back
on the freeway?
This looks like maybe a freeway on-ramp. Now going southbound 605 from Telegraph. And so they're trying to get CHP to pick this back up again. That might be that second vehicle, the second patrol vehicle, may be both Whittier Police Department coming toward us.
I like the video a little better on CBS, but
traffic Sunday evening.
You can see the desperation in the how this individual's driving, cutting across.
I don't want to watch their shit.
That was pretty close right there.
They'll show me replays, and they got graphics all over screen and shit.
I think he's going to be right up underneath us here pretty quick. I'm going to pull out of the shot here because my camera goes a little wacko when we're zoomed in so tightly. But you can see two patrol vehicles right on that driver's heels as it continues southbound on the 605 freeway through San
shit. I don't know. The video is so much better on theirs. I think I'm going to switch back. I'm sorry. The video is just so much better.
Okay.
Of the suspect.
Okay.
Sergeant O'Malley, now that they're on the freeway here, will CHP take a less aggressive stance given there's so much traffic in this area?
Yeah, I usually am with you there, Sean. So if they pull that replay shit again, we might have to switch. But it's just so much better looking right here.
They like the pursuit. You know, they probably had it on the freeway coming up towards Whittier.
It's such a big difference.
Got into, where you have stoplights and they were driving real aggressive and they just decided to back off for a little bit, let it calm down, and it worked. Now they're back on the freeway, and, this is their bread and butter. This is where they like it. They'll set up their different tactics, which might be spike strips or, shutting down on-ramps.
The Sunday night guy's not as good as Eliana, is all I'm going to say.
Until the termination point now.
Man, he is, or the driver, I don't know for sure it's a male. We think it might be, but that driver is definitely making some close calls there. Took a really, almost clipped that car.
Thank you,
as it
CM.
was going back into the HOV lane and now taking speeds of almost 9. Now we're crossing 90 miles per hour.
Good to see you.
Getting closer to 100 miles per hour. So this driver.
Good to have a police
taking
chase.
many more chances, a lot more dangerous.
Okay,
than
that's
when
on our bingo card.
It started out like with the driver, obeying traffic laws, stopping at stop signs, taking it slow at first, and then now blowing through intersections, blowing through red lights, getting on the freeway now. For those of you just joining us, we are watching a pursuit with Sergeant Patrick O'Malley, and this pursuit began in Orange County. The original call was
he's going
for
quick
possible
now.
attempted kidnapping. This started out with basically just the CHP with the spotlight on top of this car for a while. The driver appearing to sort of behave like any other driver on the road.
I look like a
Things
doctor?
started to intensify with the driver now being pursued much more closely and driving
Mac,
much
what's
more
up?
erratically.
And
Kyle,
Tom,
how's it going?
From our news desk now that they are hearing from authorities that this may have started all the way in Laguna Beach.
Okay.
So may have started in Laguna Beach, went all the way up the freeway over to the Whittier area. We were in Whittier for, I would say, what, 20 minutes there, circling around the city before this driver
CGS, what's up?
On the freeway, back on the 605. You have to wonder if they're heading back into that
Damn,
direction.
they're moving quick right now.
Are they going back to Orange County? The one thing, Sergeant O'Malley, is we know that CHP knows this area. This is their territory. As you mentioned, they know exactly what to do here. They can close the off ramps. They can work ahead, correct?
Yeah, and you also
They could
have numerous CHP jurisdictions involved. So it started out, in Orange County.
Damn.
CHP office, it gets handed off to.
I think that the police maybe should not have lit him up again. Like this shit just went. It went bad,
Gas tanks that'll take it over again.
What do you guys think? Like it should. I don't know. I mean, it was driving pretty calm, and now all of a sudden we're going 100 miles an hour on the freeway.
Right, and we're looking. It'll be curious to see where this person.
San Diego
goes from
County, no,
605.
they're in LA.
And again, traffic conditions favoring this driver right now. For the most part, there was a little bit of traffic there, and we are seeing a little more volume now. But for the most part, this driver has really been able to weave in and out of traffic.
Bad but good for content. Dimitri, you got it right.
Dangerous maneuvers, coming very close to clipping some of these.
Yeah, this
cars.
is not tracking mode task, but they had
again,
tracking mode
traveling
when we
at
started
speeds of
watching it.
More than 90 miles per hour at times, and then you just have to wonder now what's their end game here?
Yeah,
In fact, when we turned it on, the news people thought that they had called the chase off altogether.
And you do wonder, where is this driver going to head to next? It looks like they're now weaving in and out. They were in that carpool lane.
Whoa.
Take a look. It looks like they're maybe exiting the 605 now.
Now
Here
they
in
are
the
exiting.
Downey Norwalk area, right on the South Street exit. And once
Wow. Oh
again,
my
just
gosh.
weaving in and out through all this traffic, trying to evade CHP. You can see CHP right on the tail of this driver
okay.
that we believe possibly wanted for some sort of kidnapping situation that started in Orange County.
And then, to your point, Sergeant, it looked like for a second the car was almost like on its side. Maybe there is a flat tire.
Yeah, he's made a couple turns since I saw that
Getting back on the freeway.
tire might be flat, and it does look like he doesn't have full control of the vehicle. So I don't know if they had already.
I didn't notice whatever they noticed.
Sometime, or he hit a curb or something.
Kevin, what's up?
I don't think he has full
Kyle,
control
what's
of
up?
the vehicle.
Yeah, now going the other direction, took the 605.
I forget who I've said hello to.
And we know we were just heading south here. We were in Whittier for quite some time.
Whatever they were talking about, it looked like normal
It looks
driving
like
to
this
me.
driver
Jeff,
maybe
what's
heading
up?
back
Andrew.
into deeper LA, so we'll have to see where this person will go. But we have seen at least one passenger in this vehicle. Again, we don't know if that person, as you mentioned, Sergeant, an accomplice or possibly a victim in all of this. We have seen a lot of movement in those two front seats, but the car is pretty tinted, so we haven't really been able to see the back seat, if anyone else is in there. At this point, CHP just trying to keep up with this vehicle that at times went over 100 miles an hour.
And, Leslie, you raised a good point earlier. Remember when we were in Whittier, there was one part where the car kind of stopped and the lights were it was very difficult to see. The car, you have to wonder, did they throw anything out of the car? We don't think
Oh,
anything
that's a
got
good
out.
question.
We couldn't
When
see
they
anything
pulled over
that's
like that, were they
possible. Someone
throwing
did.
shit out the
Maybe
car?
They threw something out, but like you said, they were also
You
gonna
think the
mess
police
with
went
stuff
to that
like
place,
Sergeant,
right?
Here, this is a very dangerous
Like where they
situation.
stopped?
This car really
And
riding
looked?
up against that vehicle here. You saw him almost going at
Like
those
trying to
exact
intervene
same. Yeah,
almost,
it
yeah.
almost felt like that there. Now the driver getting back
Using
off the
signals and headlights. I know. I
605,
think
driving over there to
oftentimes I
get
think
over
during
that
chases
vehicle.
people use
There's
signals because
dangerous
it's like a
situations.
habit.
You can see, you mentioned when it does seem like it
it's
gets
like
a little out of control
careening
there.
a little bit, right?
I don't know.
Obviously, all these poor. Oh wow! Yeah, I heard that. It looked like it almost slammed right into one of those cars. I mean, these poor people out here just driving.
These
on a
poor
Sunday night,
people.
coming home from. I keep thinking it's so late. It's only 6 o'clock because of daylight saving. But yeah, I mean, you assume people are going out to dinner. Maybe they are returning home, and this is a Sunday evening. People aren't expecting to have
Getting back
some
on.
car racing up against them or weaving into traffic, weaving in and out. This person now getting back on the freeway, back on the 605 South, it looks like. taking some much more risky maneuvers that are putting people at risk.
At this point, you have to wonder if this
Hey,
driver
what's
even,
up? Bill
knows what
says
the
from
end game
Christmas
is
Valley,
here,
Oregon.
Given that they've gotten on and off the freeway, on the 605 north, on the 605 south, just going back and
We need
forth
road rage
here.
guy to come
Again,
back,
we know this
JT said.
started,
I think you're right. Where the fuck is that
Orange County,
guy?
went all the way up to Whittier, and now we are on the 605.
Winston, what's
as
up?
CHP continues
Giga, how you
to
doing?
pursue a possible kidnapping suspect. We know at least 2 people in that vehicle, one being the driver, the other a passenger. We also saw.
Andrew says vehicle is a GM model. It's easy to penetrate via black box via satellite.
At this point, we are watching this vehicle just speed down the 605 south.
Right, and it's certainly very dangerous speeds, and we are very concerned about that. So as we continue to watch this,
yeah, the video is
to
still just
right
way
now
better
welcome
here.
Our viewers from CBS Los Angeles on Channel 2. This is CBS Los Angeles KCAL News at 6, also streaming on CBS Los Angeles, and our viewers on KCAL also watching this pursuit that we've been watching since about 5:30. Pursuit beginning in, we believe, Orange County, and attempted kidnapping calls. The preliminary
Whoever's
information
running that camera on
is
NBC tonight, they're
approaching speeds of
slacking, man.
100
It's just
miles
not
per
very
hour on the
good.
605 south. Driving very erratically, very dangerously. We believe there are at least 2 people in the vehicle, and we have Sergeant Patrick O'Malley also with us on the phone, trying to help us analyze what this person is doing, what their end game could possibly be here, and what maneuvers and tactics right now the authorities can take to get this brought to a safe end.
Sergeant O'Malley, we want to bring you in here. We're getting word that this may be Whittier PD now pursuing instead of CHP.
It's been the Whittier PD this whole time?
Right now, it seems like we're going down the 605. What are you hearing about this situation?
Yeah, Whittier PD might have picked it up for a little while when it was in Whittier, but we haven't heard any information about the original crime occurring in Whittier. So I would assume that by now they would have handed this back off to CHP, and then CHP will transition it through their jurisdictional offices.
So much coordination happening. Looked up the stats. 57.6% of suspects get caught. Really?
Going down the 605.
I heard in the past that it was 70, but maybe it's changed.
605 will eventually hit the 405 here.
Hey, Sasha, welcome.
Possibly started out of Laguna Beach, possible kidnapping suspect. At some point,
Key Whiff, what's up?
Authorities just pulled back, and
yeah, so much coordination just for this bullshit, right? Like,
you never know what's happening.
They got all these cops from all these different jurisdictions working together,
yeah, that could
just to chase this motherfucker.
Precautionary. They may not have had all the facts of the original incident or what had occurred, and if you ended up having a victim in the car with the suspect, they might have just wanted to back off for a little bit, let things calm down for a little bit. And after they exited the freeway into Whittier and that surrounding area, that worked. They drove around pretty slow. They stopped a couple times. They went into a residential area, and then eventually once they started picking up speed again, they started putting other lives at risk by running the red lights. Then they re-engaged the pursuit, and that's where we're at back on the 605.
Yeah, now getting off on Spring Street here in the Long Beach area. This is a very crowded area, residential area. I know this area very well, actually. And it looks like this person is...
The camera is really shaky.
Continuing on.
It's
We're getting
fucking me
a
up a
couple hits
little.
here with our service, but of course we'll stay with it, going about 70 miles per hour through...
NBC is still on it, but dude, like they're super far away. It's really awkward looking. Does ABC have one? Like, what are our options here?
Is this a neighborhood, a lot of residential activity here? Is this?
Yeah, this is full residential
KTLA?
community right now in Long Beach, and so you wonder if Long Beach PD will then,
we have
try to
two
jump in
options
on
right
this,
now.
but at this point,
And
because it is fully
honestly, the
residential,
NBC one
Sergeant, we have seen
is really
CHP
dark.
pull back at least just a little bit. They're not right on the tail of this vehicle.
And
here.
this one's like shaky and fucked up. I might have to
they may
switch.
use
It's
the
like
same
fucking with
platform
me.
they used earlier and back off a little bit.
Right, and oh, go ahead. Sorry, Sergeant.
It's still the best one.
They're going to notify Long Beach PD and the surrounding agencies of what's coming. CHP likes to just handle the pursuits on their own, so they probably won't ask the other agency to intervene, but just let them know that they are in the area and that they can use cautions around different intersections and try to make it safer for the community as it proceeds.
And one thing we've been trying to figure out is if this car has a flat tire or some sort of damage. It looks like the car is leaning or listing almost.
Does
like
it?
When some
Does
of the
it
angles
though?
It's a little bit difficult to tell. Obviously, not
Does
the
it?
Conditions you want to see someone driving 90 miles or 100 miles per hour in. This is a residential area. This driver,
I don't know if it
stuck
does.
in traffic, so it'll be interesting to see if police try to use that to their advantage, right? Because on the freeway,
I don't
it's been
see
an
any
open road
tires
for this
flat.
person.
I don't know.
Not a lot of obstruction, so it's been easy for this car to just kind of have their way. And
Oh, you're
and
from
go as quickly
Whittier?
as they seem to be wanting to go. And now once again, again, we were speculating earlier, wondering, did this person have some sort of knowledge of Whittier? Are they from there? Because they stayed in Whittier for a very long time, kind of weaving in and out of the streets there, and then getting on the freeway, getting on the 605, and then heading now into Long Beach. And so then the question is this an area familiar to these folks as well? And Leslie and I pointed out earlier too, you've got that big bright light on the license plate, not that the police necessarily need it.
Making a U-turn right
U-turn.
there in the middle of the intersection.
What was
yeah,
up
that big
ahead?
bright light, as you were mentioning, police can see that license plate, make it very easy for them to see. They're going
Yeah, there's no
down,
police
this
behind them
area of
now.
Long Beach here
Okay,
on
suddenly
Los
the NBC
Coyotes,
one
and,
actually has better video.
looks like they're trying to turn back because they probably don't know where they are.
Yeah.
But as you saw, they just went right past that intersection there. And again, we don't know how many people are in this vehicle. We know at least two. You have the driver, the passenger, making their way all the way from South Orange County over to Whittier. And we're now going into about 30 minutes since we've been over this, but
Yeah.
if it started
the car
in Orange
looks
County, we
fine.
picked it up in
Tires look
Whittier,
fine.
It's been going for quite some time.
Okay, we hit
and
30
the question
minutes.
becomes too, well, if it started
Hold
in
on.
Orange County, then why was the driver then, did they know they were being
Most people said
pursued?
yes.
'Cause
Almost
we
everybody
picked
said
it up
yes.
Sort of when it was in Whittier,
Okay.
so we're not exactly sure. And it was
Let's
very,
run
for
it
viewers who
again.
haven't been following it, the very beginning, it was not an erratic chase. The driver almost appeared as though it was just driving through traffic like a normal driver, not that it was being pursued. And so then, you wonder, were they trying to sort of just play the whole thing off and just kind of melt into
Running
traffic
a red
to sort of
light.
get police off their backs? Police were not running lights and sirens initially. They were.
Will this chase last
taking a
for
very
another
cautious approach.
13 minutes?
Now we look like we're heading into a neighborhood.
I don't
We're
know.
Straight into a neighborhood
I would
here.
probably
It doesn't look like
say
safety's right on the
yes,
tail, of course
but
you
if you're
do
in a neighborhood
have,
like this,
the
I don't
helicopter
know.
Overhead, you have the chopper there. These are very narrow streets. You can see they're pretty dark residential areas. What moves
I feel like this
driver is
person's
gonna
not
make,
going to stop.
We don't know at this point.
But I also
Usually
don't know
turn
why they're
signal
doing
and
this.
stopping at the stop sign.
Yeah, not something we saw earlier
Right.
when he was going through the community of Whittier, just trying to bypass all the drivers, especially on the freeway there.
Well, yeah, the police aren't
You have
behind
to
anymore,
wonder
and it
what
suddenly
is
got
being
safer,
done
you
with
know?
this
Right.
driver, because they look like
They're slowing
at this
down.
point
Yeah.
they don't know where they are, where they're going, but they're just trying to get away from officials, which is going to be very difficult given that they're not giving up. The helicopter's still
You'd pick the
overhead.
over on
They wanna
40 if
follow
he's
this
got the
through. They
gas.
wanna make sure everyone
Yeah,
remains
I
safe,
think
but they
you're
wanna get
right,
this
man.
person into custody
D-boy,
as
I
well.
think you're
So,
right.
have you
If
ever
he's
been
got
there
the
at
gas and
end
he
of
can
one?
keep
I'd just
driving,
like
I
to
think he
know,
probably
what do
just
these
keeps
suspects
going.
Tell you when you're putting them in handcuffs and they've taken you on a 2-hour-long pursuit.
Well, some of them just, they've been to jail many times, and they know that this is their last taste of freedom, and, every once in a while, one will get away, and they just hope that they're that one lucky person that gets away. And a lot of times, especially when they go on this long and so many agencies are involved, and you got news media above and everything else, it's just almost impossible to get away.
Right. I mean, so they know.
It's almost
they know
impossible.
that the chances are slim, but they know that this could be their last moments before.
I got
a
several
long time
videos of how it's possible,
lock-in.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like we've been discussing on this one, some of the facts are unknown. In terms
It's
of
definitely
what
not
originally
impossible right
occurred,
now.
but,
They could totally get
you
away.
see this vehicle,
They could definitely
every
get
time
away.
the officers get close to it gets up to 100 miles
It'd be
per hour,
hard,
they back
but
off and it slows
they could
down a
definitely
little
get
bit. They clearly don't want to stop. They appear like they're just completely lost and have no
They
idea
could stop
where
under
they're at.
there,
Yeah.
you know?
And I wonder too if there is some
Maybe
damage
they
to the front
did.
of that
No,
vehicle.
they're there.
Will we start to see some sparks? Will we start to see some evidence of that potential damage that we're all kind of curious that it might have?
They could have stopped right there. I mean, I don't know where they would have gone, but
Yeah,
there's somewhere they can go and just disappear.
What we thought was flat tires.
when the police aren't right behind
Maybe
you,
it's just
the
has more
light
air
can't
pressure
follow you
to it.
everywhere.
Because it does look like it's listing almost, like it's
Yeah, every
careening,
time it turns, you kind of see it.
I don't see what they're talking about.
Driving on the wrong side of the road.
I do not see.
PD now stepping in to follow this vehicle.
I do not see what they're talking about with the car careening and tilting, and I just don't see it.
Because every time law enforcement comes right behind this vehicle with lights and sirens.
If they weren't saying that, I would never be saying that.
It just picks up speed and starts to make very dangerous maneuvers. Going through this remote industrial area now. This is a very industrial area here, actually. Not much neighborhood.
Before snooze fighting, the police chases took place on infinite streets for infinite time.
And so kind of riding on the 405, on the side of the 405 in this area.
Well, and to your point, it's probably, you know, in some ways, better obviously to be in the industrial area. But as you pointed out, Leslie, with the units kind of pulling back, probably they do that as you get into these residential areas, right? So you don't want to upset the suspect even more and have them speed and drive more erratically than they already are. If there are people, you know, in intersections crossing through a
airport
crosswalk,
area. I saw that too, John, but it's no mention of it.
Right through, as we've seen them do several times.
You can see they just passed.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like
a patrol car there.
Charles, if the tire was flat, we would have really known by now. It's been going on for almost 40 minutes for us, and they've been saying that since the start.
Again, we are following what started as a possible kidnapping out of Orange County. CHP then followed this driver all the way up to the Whittier area, where that driver continued to maneuver through the residential areas of Whittier for about 25 to 30 minutes there, at times making very drastic and dangerous maneuvers. Here, the driver is now through the Long Beach area, right near Long Beach Airport. Long Beach PD was behind this driver for some time. Tom,
what's up with Long Beach Airport?
There is
that just a small airport, really small?
As well as a passenger. We don't know if that passenger is an
Hey,
accomplice
Ryan,
in this,
thank you.
or if they are a victim in this. We
I
don't
appreciate
know
you.
the information yet surrounding that potential kidnapping, but this area is going to be very difficult.
And I don't know if it matters at all, but I know there's a lot of you on YouTube. You could hit the thumbs up.
So
I don't know if it makes any difference for anything for anybody, but hey, it does. It's free. It's easy.
You see it there once again. We
I don't know how
haven't
this shit works.
seen officials make any maneuvers like spike strips
Right.
or try to pit this vehicle, because anytime they get close, this driver takes off and makes very dangerous maneuvers.
By public,
Right.
I don't know if it's a
It was
kidnapping.
interesting
We
just
don't.
because there
It just
were
says
no
possible.
police
They don't
units
know
even-
shit.
Not even just
At least the
driving with
news
lights and
people
sirens
don't.
off. There were just no units pursuing it at all.
The news people just talk shit.
Sergeant, when you have a situation like this, and if our information is correct,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
this
Charles,
is
you could be right.
a potential kidnapping suspect, does that also create a whole other level of caution, or maybe the opposite, because you have someone who potentially tried to do something, you know, so allegedly violent that you have to make sure that you do get this person eventually and arrest them?
Yeah, and
News
depends
people
on
are
the
blunted
kidnapping
beyond
factors
gone.
Also, you know, if they had a gun and they tried to kidnap somebody with a gun, you know, especially in that case, it probably takes out the pit maneuver in a way.
Dude, they are just straight
they've
making
just been
shit up.
Really non-aggressive, which is a little bit odd for CHP.
That's not what happened. He's just saying, well, if it was, this is the type of shit the news people do. If the chase goes on for 40 minutes, they are just going through every possible scenario that it could be.
You know, and get out of the car, and then
Well, if it was this, then it would be like this. They just they just make up every damn thing they can make up. They just talk and talk, and they don't know what else to say.
Depends on how much gas they have.
Now we got the gas.
You assume that they wouldn't have.
Hey, thank you for following, D-Boy.
I mean, they've already been going for, you know, probably at least an hour when it started down in South Orange
Oh,
County.
for sure, at least an hour.
They just continue to keep the helicopters up above, and I'm sure there's...
Came from YouTube. Welcome to Twitch.
Yes.
And then just riding this out.
And Sergeant, you bring up a good point, because they are backing off a lot. They are not being aggressive in this. It makes you think, is there a victim involved in this? Is that victim in that vehicle? Because we haven't seen any drastic moves made by CHP yet in this.
Yeah, that really would explain everything. If this was somebody...
Yeah, they have to be careful what they say, but they're still pretty fucking reckless when it comes to these chases. They just start talking, like, they got this cop on the phone, and he's like, oh, well, I mean, if they had a gun and they had kidnapped somebody by gunpoint, it's like, whoa, dude.
Precisely how
well, that's not what happened.
Right now, and just following it and trying to keep the speeds as low as possible and ride it out until the end.
Right, and because we haven't been able to see in the backseat, we don't know. And the person we did see, we do have some video from earlier of the two, of a pretty tight shot of both people. There was a passenger and a driver. It's impossible to know what's going on inside the car, but all we could sort of see was them ruffling around with either a bag, putting something in. So, but this person in the passenger seat could have been under duress. They could have been following the orders of the driver potentially, right? Or maybe the passenger's the one in charge. We don't know. I mean,
could be.
There's so many questions here.
Could be. Who may be just so many questions, and we're gonna ask them all.
And we obviously don't know what is in that vehicle, right? I mean, there could be no weapons. There could be weapons.
There could be weapons. There could be no weapons, dude.
Stopped and we're going very slowly in Whittier in a very dark area. Who knows? Maybe they tossed something out of the car.
Maybe they tossed something out of the car.
Weapons possibly.
Dude, you
several law enforcement.
They just throw out every possible scenario.
Staged to maybe block traffic. But have you heard anything about any weapons in this case?
Yeah, the cop gets on here.
No, I haven't.
Cop-splaining. Cop-splaining to earn their money. That's so fucking true.
Case, a boyfriend, girlfriend, and he forced her into the car, and now they just don't want to have to deal with authorities. It could be something as simple as that, and that's why there still could be a lot of unknowns with the facts that are being relayed to the law enforcement agencies. So right now they have it right where they want, right where they want it to be. Nice low speeds, 40, 50 miles
Kevin,
an
I am
hour.
saying that the media gets it wrong. On these police chases, the media gets it wrong more often than not.
There are no ground units.
They are working with so little information. You have to understand.
Spotlight's still shining on
like
that car.
they are telling us everything they know,
Cell phone or some
and
sort of
then more
electronic
because
device
they don't
being
know
used
shit.
in the vehicle. Obviously, we don't know if that's someone communicating or using a GPS, but obviously someone in there is using some sort of electronic device, smartphone or an iPad.
Yeah, there's a phone. Okay, we got that on our bingo card.
What they're using that for, of course, we can't be certain, but they may be trying to figure out where they are.
Can't be certain, but they might be doing this or they might be doing that.
It looked like this person did not know
Speculation.
when they were in Long Beach. They were driving much more erratically.
Maybe they're just shitting their pants so they don't want to stop for fear of being embarrassed. Maybe.
They actually kind of knew the streets, but that was just based on sort of the behavior of the driver there.
And Sergeant, the advantage
Speculation between the action. I know. D-Boy, that's exactly what's happening. They just got to keep talking, so they just start saying anything.
Something so dangerous, putting other people in jeopardy here.
It's always funny, though. I always laugh at it. I could do this without doing that. I'm just saying, I could do this without doing that. I do it all the time.
Maybe as many as 3 law enforcement agency helicopters between CHP, Orange County, LA.
They should call me.
Some of the other agencies.
Stop calling Patrick O'Malley. Call me. I'll talk to him.
They have plenty of ground units.
And then we don't have to talk about like all the possible scenarios. We'll talk about something else.
Appear to just be content to let this thing ride out, and until they step it up again by running red lights or putting the community more in danger, then they'll just keep it at this pace.
Where's the night sun now?
Because many times we come over these to alert the community in these areas, especially when they go through residential areas. But just the
you guys hear that?
That it poses to other drivers, other people.
We do this to alert the community. Just you're so generous. This public servants, these news people, definitely not doing this to make entertainment out of it. It's not that. They're doing it to help people, okay?
Pedestrians. At this point, we're seeing this vehicle, this driver here. Again, following the rules of the road. Right. No one's behind this person. No one's behind this vehicle, and it looks like they think
they're blending in, right?
It seems like they may think they're blending in at this point.
Yeah, and
I
to
mean,
your point too. Not only like is it dangerous for like the pedestrians and stuff, but what about when other people?
If they shine the night sun on them again, they'd know they're not blending in.
Who was
but when that's gone, now they're like, oh, we're free.
Of course, you guys.
Wait, there it is
do
again.
not do that. Don't
shit.
Put yourself in that situation. But have you spoken to sort of the so-called like maybe I don't know a better word for like a good Samaritan who's trying to help police, trying to do the right thing, but obviously putting themselves at risk?
Yeah, several times. You know, everybody wants to be a hero. Everybody wants to help out. So, you know, you'll see some of these where somebody will have a big truck or something like that, and they'll just kind of slowly put their brakes on or nudge them over, and they just know that if they can kind of push them off to the side and get them to slow down and give up, then, you know, everybody ends up safe. The officers go home and the suspects go to jail uninjured. So that, you know, everybody wants that ending. Just a matter of how people decide that they want to help or not help.
You know, we just saw
Don't help.
This driver.
Bad idea. Don't try to help.
CHP.
I've got a video that's getting a lot of views right now about that. About the last time a Good Samaritan got involved in one of these chases.
But we all
and
know watching this that, hey,
most people in the comments,
patrol car,
most people that I've seen in the comments are strongly against helping the police in that situation, which is very smart. All of them bring up very good points.
Exactly it. They just, you know, now they're heading back up to the area that they were in before. So, you know, they have all the same agencies and a lot of the same.
Sean says I couldn't call you because you'd end up talking about Eliana, probably.
You know, each shot where they make turns or head back in the opposite direction, there's still police units that are there.
I'm just saying I'm more entertaining than this cop. Like, I definitely, people would be more interested in hearing from me. I'm just saying. I don't have expertise on what the police do or nothing.
Is there also a tactic to kind of lull these people into a sense of, oh, we've gotten away? But obviously,
it's an electric vehicle,
so they probably they have to know they're still being pursued. But is the idea also maybe just to get them to just calm down?
Yeah, that's exactly what
you need to calm down.
Early on in the pursuit, we saw them looking up through the window.
Yeah, so we got the prediction up right now. Use your channel points on Twitch. Do you think this chase is going to last another 14 minutes?
You know, people can see that spotlight coming up from behind them.
I mean, I just don't see this one ending. At this point, it doesn't seem like there's any end in sight. But oftentimes it happens in an instant, you know?
Like they kind of maybe they got away a little bit. You know, they don't see the lights and sirens behind them. They don't hear the sirens. So they think, well, maybe it's just somebody up above. We can get away from that.
Yeah.
We'll just keep
Cole says...
And we know the priority for law enforcement.
The only actual warnings people need are the areas to stay away from. Literally everything else just incites panic or draws people to the areas. That's so true. They aren't doing this to help anybody, okay? Just to be clear, if anybody has any... is anyone's confused? I am also not doing this to help anybody, all right? I'm just like them. They're just like me. They just don't want to admit it.
They want to make sure that they're able to de-escalate.
They're just like me.
Yeah, that's exactly what they've done in this pursuit. You know, you're dealing with, you know, as we know it, this is a possible felony.
This is a cruise? Okay.
That occurred in Orange County and not L.A. County. So if it's a solid case, it will be vigorously prosecuted, you know, down in Orange County. So that's another reason that they don't want to let it go. They'll just keep, you know, continue. And
all right, we got a cop right behind him again. Now this is the point where it gets crazy again.
Yeah, now we're seeing a much more aggressive posture from the CHP, which there's a unit there pursuing the suspect. I wonder.
Yeah, he's gonna start driving fast as fuck again, man.
Must be looking at this as a situation where you.
It was being calm before, now you're just going to make it worse.
Sergeant, this is kind of their territory. This is their home turf kind of thing. This is the freeway. This is where they want this to be.
Yeah.
It's the Chevy Cruze. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, they may have gotten in touch with, you know, possible witnesses and other things already too. We've let a lot of time go by. You know, in the background, the dispatchers and the handling agencies are all doing, you know, different types of research and different types of interviews, and they may have more information now. And
Sela Kanth?
We'll have to see,
is that true?
You know, where it goes now that they have reengaged it.
Yeah, at this point, this driver going over 100 miles an hour. This is probably the closest we've seen
Sela Kanth
or any law
what is that from?
Really get for this amount of time. Really on the tail of this driver.
Vega thinks he's going to crash.
Other drivers.
Ooh, look at that.
Going right in the middle between
the
lanes.
Yeah, man.
Right
on the shoulder.
Right now, it looks like there is traffic.
Yeah, it's going so fast, man. Hit the brakes. Holy shit.
where that CHP patrol car is, right?
That was really,
that was especially dangerous.
Yeah, if there was no margin for error there.
True.
Those cars, he just drove between. Yeah, that was not. That's the problem. Is now you start to see this kind of behavior, right, Sergeant? And the CHP has to make a calculation. What do we do now? This driver, once again, from using their turn signal to stopping at stop signs to now.
Yeah. So why did they get behind him again? Like, I'm not sure what they thought they were going to accomplish. Like, now he's just driving crazy. Did you think?
Yeah.
That they were going to pull over, or is this just like that's just what you have to do? Like, why did they get behind him again?
I couldn't tell for sure, but it almost looks like they may have backed off already. So it's pretty clear. With
do they just do that because they're like, oh, we have to try? It just seemed like I could have told you that was just a bad idea. Just put the night sun on them. Keep moving.
When the units aren't behind them, so. They may stick to that tactic just because it's been.
Sean, it was brought up because there's someone using that name in the YouTube, and I keep saying it wrong.
The driver parked in traffic, not trying to weave through and try to get away, but the
ancient creature.
The pursuing, yeah.
Every time the lights and sirens come up behind this driver, they start driving erratically, very dangerous, putting other people's lives in jeopardy and whoever else, that passenger. But we always know that there is
what's
an air
up?
Unit here, and even though they may back up, the ground units may, back up.
Dangerous Hater, what's going on? So we've been watching this chase for almost an hour.
Keep following it,
and
they want to make sure that
we don't know what the fuck is going on. Possible kidnapping. There's a man and a woman in the front seats.
The police, Sergeant, you're good.
They've been driving pretty calm when the police aren't behind them, and then when the police get behind them, it gets really crazy.
He's like a normal driver.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying about how the different suspects react differently to different things, and clearly
really unsure of what to do right now.
Like the lights and sirens behind him,
getting right back on.
That's where he has to push the limit, and so now if they can keep it.
Cloud said this is his city, Paramount.
See if he gets back on the freeway again, but right now he's back how he was acting earlier in Whittier, where he was just kind of driving around and just appears lost, not sure where to go, and. Looking up in the air at the helicopters.
And obviously,
it's such an easy spot. Yeah, it is.
Talking about, it's pretty clear that it's not going to be hard unless there's no license plate there. But that could be part of the calculation too, is that they might know who this is already, right? And they may be sort of biding their time.
Yeah, they probably do.
Yeah, they could. They just based on the license plate, and then using the computer systems of police records and everything else, getting in contact with.
I would imagine they do know who this is.
And trying to figure out, who is the driver, and see if they have any idea who the female might be, and try to figure out if they have a legitimate kidnapping or just some type of domestic situation.
Either way, at this point, this person has broken plenty of laws there. From evading officers, just whipping through those red lights, through the freeway here, coming up on the 710 South. We're hearing we have just a couple moments here with our
If you're watching on YouTube, give a thumbs up.
O'Malley, and that can always be the case for news crews, but with the air units up in the sky, they have multiple air units, multiple departments with air units, so no one's going to be losing this driver here.
Yeah, they're not losing him as long as he's visible.
The issue, as he keeps going in this direction, if it ends up where he ends up in airport airspace, which, as you know, the news helicopters and police helicopters.
Please don't do that then.
Maneuver through that and around it. But,
don't drive to the airport in Compton now.
We see every day when it comes to pursuits, if they decide to use a parking structure, use an apartment complex, whatever it is.
Is that true?
Get out and run. But so far they've
you're right.
Opportunities to get out and run. And
we could get a bingo.
So, at this
dude,
point
we
time,
could get a bingo.
They're just trying to bide their last amount of time that they have and see where it goes from there.
And of course, we'll be keeping tabs on this, Sergeant O'Malley. We may have you back on in a little bit. We got to refuel our chopper, unfortunately.
Oh, fuck, really? All right, we're switching channels.
Oh, okay, we can.
We have a few more moments here before we have to take off. But again, if you're
okay, they're gonna run out of gas. So hopefully the NBC people are good.
Going for about an hour. We've been over it for about an hour. We know it started in South Orange County. We picked it up once this vehicle reached Whittier. So this thing has been going for much, much longer. We know, aside from the driver, there is a passenger. It looked like possibly a female in this car. We're unsure of her connection to this driver at this point. Is she in danger? Is she not? Is she a part of this?
The NBC stream is like a minute ahead.
But it looks like that driver continuing to just evade officers. Anytime law enforcement comes behind this vehicle,
166,000 likes. What does that mean?
Make very dangerous maneuvers, whipping through lanes on the freeway, going in between vehicles here. But at this point, it looks like law enforcement has now backed up a bit, trying to control this situation, calm down the situation as this driver continues on the 710 North.
And Sergeant, as we look at this, and you pointed out so clearly, how, as Leslie just was saying too, how this driver reacts to the lights and sirens. Do you think it's gonna? Why do you think he's not reacting the same way to the big floodlight pointed at his car? I mean, I know you're totally speculating here, but in that sense, he knows he's still being pursued, but for some reason, the lights and sirens on the ground seem to agitate him more than the light above him.
Yeah, it's hard to say. You don't know if these people are under the influence, if they're seeing things. You just don't know.
Don't know if they're seeing things.
Doesn't light up the entire vehicle because you have the roof, so you have some light that's coming in on the windshield, but everything else is so tinted, so it just may not affect them as much. And there's nothing worse than
kidnappers near an airport. He's in Compton, so yeah, I guess.
Your mirrors, and they're trying to chase you, and they kind of just forces you to push that pedal.
You just have to keep. He would have had to keep going that direction out of there. I don't know what he's doing now.
Just hoping that he runs out of gas pretty soon.
Right, and another thing too, we noticed they were using, electronic devices in the car. Were they trying to GPS themselves somewhere? Were they trying to communicate with someone outside of the car? Were they trying to call someone? Or maybe police are trying to, as you pointed out earlier, Leslie, maybe authorities or CHP or law enforcement agency somewhere is trying to talk to them on the phone.
Yeah, Sergeant O'Malley, many times law enforcement is able to get in contact with these suspects.
Yeah,
they are using the turn signal just all the time, man.
So that could be explained.
I think a lot of that is just like habit,
Why they haven't tried spike.
Drive your car to the left, you turn the turn signal on when you're in traffic.
Looking out for the safety of the possible victim that is now inside with the suspect. When it comes down
Sean's over here to talk about fish. Sean is Fish Andy.
Case with a victim that's not known, and she just hasn't tried.
What's the most bizarre thing that's happened during a car chase ever? Man, that's a good question.
And that is just the danger of these situations.
I think it was probably.
We're gonna have to let you go now, but we thank you for your time. Our chopper has to go.
Okay, we're gonna have to switch.
We have been over this pursuit that is through
Let's
the
switch
Norwalk
over.
area on the 105 East. We've been over it for about an hour, Tom. We know it started in Orange County, went all the way up to Whittier, and now through Downey, Norwalk. Of course, our folks at the desk, they'll continue monitoring this.
Inside, possibly 2 people. A kidnapped suspect and possibly a juvenile inside this vehicle.
Kidnapped suspect and possibly a juvenile. All right, so we're going to get different, maybe bullshit info from this news station as opposed to the last one. Okay? I could not tell if the person in the front seat was a juvenile.
So
didn't really look like it to me.
CHP,
It looked like a full-sized adult anyway.
Right now, but I think they're going to be lighting it up again here real quick.
Man, it just seems like NBC is so far away, right?
What sort of tactics they're going to employ here? Again,
We need no-fly zone for bingo. Yeah, I hope we don't get it.
Because there might indeed be a kid inside this vehicle. So no attempt at a pit maneuver. Of course, we've seen pit maneuvers on the freeway, so don't think that doesn't happen. Not at these speeds, of course. and we have not seen any attempt at a spike strip at all. So could they just be waiting for this vehicle to run out of
Why you
fuel?
always got the caps lock on? CGS.
Could they
Why
just be
always
waiting
caps?
for this vehicle to just pull over? That's quite possible too.
But you're talking about the guy with his jumping out the front driver's window with his pants falling off. That was funny. That was funny.
And the near misses that we have seen now for the better part of about 2 hours definitely doesn't.
Yeah, the golf cart guy, man, there's so many. I could go on for an hour about all the most ridiculous shit I've seen.
This comes to a peaceful end, a calm end, where
What's up, emotional
there's a
support?
child inside that vehicle that no one is injured.
I like the video that they had on the other station better, but I generally like NBC better. They don't have a bunch of graphics on their screen and shit, but
Front windshield, and there's just not enough light to actually see inside there just yet.
he said sticky keyboard is the one I used to watch porn with. Are you kidding me?
So we're now transitioned to the northbound
Oh my
605
God.
approaching Firestone. Still at about 65, 70 miles per hour.
All right, so the police have been away for a while now in terms of they haven't been behind him. And this is just not going anywhere. Like, this is just, we're just, I think we're just going to do this for a while. It's been an hour now.
About the fact that this was a small little.
So let me
compact vehicle,
update our
a
prediction
two-seater.
again.
And the fact that, who knows how much fuel, how much gas this vehicle has. I mean,
I want to
it's
know
a
how
smaller
much
vehicle. It may be,
the NBC chopper
a
has.
very fuel economic vehicle.
Okay,
if
well,
you
this
will.
lasts for 75 minutes. We're
Maybe
61
just,
minutes in.
absolute great gas mileage.
Use
We
your
just don't
channel
know,
points.
but,
Kenny, welcome.
definitely, since this kidnapping suspect, since this all originated apparently in Laguna Beach, we just don't know how much fuel this vehicle has and whether or not they started out with a fuel tank of gas or a half a tank. But we will see. We continue to follow it here
Turn signal every time, man.
on the 605 freeway. Now picking up speeds 80, 85 miles per hour. And let's see what the impetus is.
There's
you
a
go,
cop.
right
That's
there.
why.
That CHP patrol vehicle has lit up.
Start driving
And
faster.
Now we got two patrol vehicles closing in on this vehicle, and that has prompted the driver to start to accelerate now. 85 miles per hour.
Big
on the
surprise.
605 freeway.
It looked for a second like it was 120. Their thing was tripping out a little. But originally when we made the bingo card, like however many years ago now, it had 120 miles per hour as the threshold for filling in that square. I had to lower it to 90 pretty quick. It was like, oh, that just doesn't happen very much. We drafted the bingo card when watching old chases,
we're hearing
so it
scanner
seemed more
traffic
common
that
because
at
we
some
were
point
watching
they're
like
gonna attempt
classic
to spike.
chases.
We don't know where that's going to happen, when that's going to happen, so you will probably be watching that real time here, just like us, as they see the deployment of that spike strip.
How long have I been doing this? Like over 3 years now.
They are radioing ahead to other divisions.
I started doing this in
try
the
to get
summer
that
of
spike strip,
2020.
Deployed in a place where they think this vehicle is going to be. So you just saw a
Psych.
juke right there, trying to juke the officers into thinking they were going to get off the freeway. They stayed on the freeway. It's a pretty common tactic amongst people that are trying to
Multiple
elude,
failed spike strips?
police or law enforcement capture. Of course, CHP not falling for that. They've this isn't their first rodeo, so
We
they're
originally
staying,
had spike strips
right on the
and
heels of
missed
this
spike
vehicle
strips.
as they
but
weave their way through traffic.
I don't know, man. It's tough when you got a bingo card. So you only got 24 squares or whatever. It's tough to try and. So we had to just do spike strips so that it covers both of them. You know, like the bingo card has been changed numerous times. I think it's pretty good
so
now.
But
RRRRZZ, what's up?
Right now. Not sure if Whittier Police is going to re-engage. Maybe exiting right now. See, getting off the freeway at Whittier Boulevard.
You think they already swapped? Like they brought another one out there?
Got a little bit of traffic right here as they squeeze.
They aren't showing it yet.
All this traffic.
All right, going
so
on the
605
not
Whittier.
the sidewalk,
Let's see
but
which
close.
they go. So it's going to be a right-hand turn onto Whittier Boulevard.
Well, you ditched the cops if they were behind you.
And they're going eastbound now on Whittier.
Although you can't put it past the cops to do that same thing.
And again, absolutely no plan whatsoever this driver has, no real discernible direction of travel, just going in circles, getting on the freeway, back off the freeway, and then back on the freeway again. And remember, this originated in Orange County, so it's quite possible
what's up?
They have absolutely no idea what city they're in or know any of the streets. They're just trying to elude capture right now. But of course, doing it in a very dangerous way.
Sinless Apprentice, what's up? Okay.
So in a residential area right now in Whittier.
Slowing down a lot.
Now making a left.
Seem like they're really unsure what they're going to do, but I think they're just going to... I mean, what can you do? What can you do?
Another left-hand turn. It looks like Rincon Drive. And
Jimmy
no
Opal, what's
officers
up?
behind.
Oh, what was that person doing? This is so weird.
But you can see the airship up above. They still have that night sun on this vehicle right now.
Yeah, they know they're being followed.
When you're talking about an air asset that has the night sun and is directly overhead, there's just really
no, it's all dependent on what the person did.
They're pursuing to get
and
away.
okay,
now, over to the curb.
Here we go.
On Glengarry Avenue
Here we go.
in Whittier, dark blacking.
The car's off. The car's off. Oh, they're getting out.
Doors open. Out of the vehicle, looks like a male subject carrying a bag. Come back over the other way, I think.
Yeah, please move over the other way.
Like there's somebody on the passenger side.
Please move your fucking helicopter. Nope.
I don't see anyone else getting out. We're going to try and get past this building.
You should go the other way. You're making it worse. There they are. There they are. There they are.
Okay, on foot. Foot bailing. Both running at the same time into a building here right at the corner of Glengarry and C Drive. And what is this? Some sort of commercial building.
Yeah, where are the cops?
And this might be it right here because the Aero Bureau is right overhead. And unless they know this building or have access into this building, there's just absolutely no way. Okay, so they do have access. They have an open door.
Okay.
There's an open door on this building, so it looks like they made access through that open door right there.
They must know this building, right? Like, no way.
Situation where now all officers have to do is come
Okay, the
in,
cops are
set
here.
up
It's
a
over.
perimeter,
Now what? They're just going to go in that door.
prevent those individuals from escaping. We
Yeah,
saw
what was
two
in their
people
bags?
Run from the vehicle. We could not tell the age or sex of the other individual, but the driver was very clearly a male subject.
It looked like the other one was definitely
wearing,
a female.
Light green.
And now who are these
Light
people?
green colored jacket and
Who are
backpack of
you?
some type.
Oh, shit.
And it looks like these individuals are pointing to police in a different direction here. Let's see here. Pull out of the
Now
shot here a
what?
little bit. As they close in on the area
Zoom
and
out.
try and search
Zoom way out.
for these individuals.
Oh, wait, now there's another person.
that bolted from that vehicle.
Another person.
And so you have You have people coming out of this commercial building here who very clearly probably work there or at least belong there, who are now trying to point out to law enforcement
Where'd they
where
go?
these individuals might be on the premises.
Where are the cops?
So this is the parking lot of the Travel Inn Motel. At the
It's a
corner of
motel.
Mary and C Drive.
I don't understand. Okay, so this is a motel. And
I don't see it. There was some patrol vehicles in the
apparently.
area. I don't see them now.
Doesn't look like a motel.
This looks like
but
they're to the east. Okay.
what are the cops doing? Why aren't they in this place already? They're all over here. Wait. They went in that other building. This is the motel.
So it looks like we might have a suspect in custody. We're trying to get around here and see.
Dude, they fucking missed it. The news people scuffed up or something. If they ran out of that building and over into this other building, you just missed them? Okay.
So it
that
looks like we have a suspect in custody here.
Is a person. But is that the driver? That might be the driver. But they're wearing something different now. And they're at the wrong building.
So there were two people who ran from the vehicle. It looks like at least they have one person right now.
But how did they... Nobody's asking the question right now of how did they get over there? How did they get it all... I mean, that's a pretty far run from where they went in that door. We watched them go in the door.
As they walk this into... This is the male suspect, or the male subject.
And who... Yeah, is this guy fucking streaming? What are we... Is this a fucking TV show?
This Whittier patrol vehicle.
Are they
right now.
filming cops
Did not
again?
see the second suspect. There were two individuals.
Is that a different
who actually
person?
ran from
They're
the
not wearing the
vehicle.
same clothes. But I did think that the man who
So
got
far,
out of the
we have
car who
not
was
seen
driving
the
had long
second
hair, if I remember
subject,
correctly.
That bolted from that vehicle.
And green shorts or a green shirt or something. Like, I think that might be him. But how did they get from where we saw them go in this pharmacy or whatever the
So
fuck it is
they've
all the
got,
way
the
over to that
male
hotel?
driver of the
Why didn't the
pursuit
news
vehicle
guy
in the
catch
back of
them
this
running
police
like that?
car
Like,
right
dude,
now, and as
I kept saying,
pull
zoom
out
out,
of the
zoom out.
shot
Like, we
here.
could have maybe seen the front of the building. But
it's not clear whether or not they have the other individual,
I don't get it.
and I'm hearing now they have both in custody.
They have them both. But they went in that other fucking building.
So we're hearing radio traffic that both are in custody. Again, this all started in Laguna Beach, probably a little better than 2 hours ago, as a reported possible kidnapping. And what we were hearing was it was a possible kidnapping subject with possibly the kidnapped victim, a child, a juvenile, in the vehicle as well.
Dude, I just
so
totally
the
don't
vehicle,
understand.
Left the Orange
Yeah, I
County
got to do the
area
prediction thing,
with,
right.
CHP in tow. Behind it, it came into the LA County area.
Most of you said
traversing
yes.
a number of different freeways. It was on the 605. It was on the 5. It was on the.
If you always
105,
bet on the
710,
under
on the
on
surface
this
streets,
pursuit
on a number of different
prediction game,
communities,
you're gonna end up
and
being
then,
rich.
Finally getting off the freeway and
I
hitting
realized
right
today you
here
would have had to
on
suffer through like
Whittier
4
and,
wrong guesses.
Whittier Boulevard here in
But
the
usually-
Whittier area.
Saying no is the
We,
answer.
Understand now we have two individuals in custody right now. The driver of the pursuit vehicle and quite possibly the child. It's unclear exactly whether or not
dude, I don't get it. I'm just totally confused.
Or perhaps another kidnapper, because
they went into that other building, and then all of a sudden they're at this like half a block away
so we just don't know the
at this motel, and they're getting arrested. I feel like what happened here was they went inside of there, and then they ran out, and they ran over to this place. And
Channel 4 News tonight. And if you'll just
we didn't see them run out of the first building and run over to this one because the news guy was just focused on that door. So he didn't even see them run out of the building. Two people who bet 900 win 2K, something like that. I don't know exactly how it works. My guess is they just ran out of that building and just like the guy was just too focused on that door. But I'd still like to know, where the fuck is that door now? Can we go back over and look at that door? That's what I'd be doing. Like, hey, can you show us where they ran into the building? And maybe say a word about the fact that they were caught several buildings further down the road? I don't know. They teleported. Cops got the wrong guy. They had a tunnel dug by El Chapo's men. I don't know.
We have both individuals in custody right now. What would you like at this point?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Actually, I should add, we need to get fuel.
All right, now they need to get fuel. Okay. Cool. I'm done here. That's it for me. Unfortunately, there were just no clips that I can use. We just spent an hour watching a chase, and I have no clips I can make into a YouTube short out of this. There's nothing. And that's the usual thing. We watched a chase for an hour the other day, and I got a couple of them, but they both suck. All right, everybody. Appreciate everyone here. If I go live again tonight, it's because there's another police chase. I won't go live for any other reason. So make sure you have the notifications on, or join the Discord, and you'll find out if you're in there too. And then you can get back in here fast, because usually they don't last for an hour. If you've never been here before, usually they don't last for an hour. Okay. What should we do? Should we raid on Twitch? Are you guys watching somebody else? Should I just end it? Like and share channel. Thanks, Tosk. Yeah. I snort fridge mold. Could raid Nest. I was watching Nest. Okay, thank you, Shinji. Appreciate everybody. I'm just going to end the stream, I guess. We'll not do the raid thing. Or should we do the raid thing? MK says so. Okay, let's just go over to Nest. I was watching him. I don't know if he's still doing what he was doing or what. Looked like the woman was carrying a kid wrapped in a blanket. You think so? I mean, they didn't get in the back seat at all, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got out of the car, and whatever they had in their hands. Maybe it was a baby. I don't know. But, all right, copy that message if you're on Twitch, because we're going to go over to Nest stream, and then you can spam that in his chat. Okay. See you later, guys.